when we touch and we agree. Oh, how beautiful it is. How lovely. Two or three together, you'll be in the midst. Oh, how beautiful. When we touch, two or three, how beautiful it is, how lovely. Oh, when we touch and agree, how beautiful. When we join hands and agree, two or three, oh, how beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful it is when we touch and agree. Oh, how beautiful, how beautiful, how beautiful. When we touch, two or three, how beautiful, how beautiful. When we come together, we touch as one and we agree. Oh, how beautiful. And my Lord will be in the midst, and His presence is where we want to be. Oh, I just want to be in His presence.
I love that song. Donna Lawrence says, I may have some scars, but I'm healed. Circumstances, I'm still healed. Disappointments, I am healed. Y'all, I got some scars. I've been through some circumstances and I've had many disappointments in my life, but today I can declare and decree that I am healed from it. I am not going to walk around. Yeah, I was in a car accident several years ago. I've had several surgeries. I have scars, but what I know is that I'm walking. What I know is that I'm still whole. What I know is that I'm better today than I was yesterday. That's what I know. And so we have got to learn how to declare and decree our healing. And if we are not healed from the things that we've gone through, the circumstances, the disappointment, we need to find a way to get healed today. And if you don't believe it, if you don't know it, if you don't acknowledge it, it's not real. We've got to make it real in our lives. It's one thing, and I'm going to get to this, but a lot of people say it. They say, oh, I'm healed. Oh, I'm more than a conqueror. Oh, they say it, but in their minds, in their hearts, they don't believe it. They don't believe that they're healed, because every time something happens, oh, I'm so disappointed. Oh, I've been so hurt. Oh, I've been abused. And they wallow in it. And over this week, all I can see is people sitting in a stew. They sitting in a big old pot with a whole bunch of potatoes, with a whole bunch of tomatoes, with corn. They sitting in their stew, a stew of disappointment, a stew of hurt, a stew of abuse, and all the things that's happened to them, and they've been thrown in them. All they want to do is sit in it and stay in it till you get mushy, till you just disintegrate. You can't hardly tell a tomato from a potato other than the color. It is just all mushes together because people have been sitting in it so long. Well, I declare I'm not sitting in no stew, not of my own and not of nobody else's. I am healed. I am free today. And that's what I want to deliver to you all, that you need to declare, and today you need to decree your healing, that you are no longer going to sit in a stew of what somebody else did to you, or even what you did to yourself. You need to declare and decree it over your life today, that I am going to be healed and I am going to be free of this thing. Whatever it is, if it was physical hurt, if it was mental hurt, if it was sexual abuse, if it was emotional abuse, if it was somebody telling you nothing to nobody, whatever it is that hurt you, whatever it was that was abusive to you, whatever it was, oh, you hit your knee on the table, whatever it is, that you are healed today, that you're going to free yourself of it so you can be all that God wants you to be. There's too many of you all, and I'm looking at your faces right now, that you are not all of what God wants you you to be because you are sitting in the stool of your hurt and your disappointment. And God said it is today if you want it to. Come on, somebody. But what I realized is that a lot of people want to sit in their stew. They want to sit right there. They want to sit in their hurt. They want to sit in their disappointment. They want to sit in their abuse because what can you do? I can blame it on the rain. I can blame it on somebody else. I can blame it, my shortcomings and my shortfalls. I can blame it on somebody else because they told me I wasn't enough. I can blame it on them. I can blame it because they said, oh, you're too black. Oh, I can blame it because they say you're from that side of town. Oh, I can blame my shortcomings. I can blame the things that I did not accomplish on somebody else. So let me sit in this stew because then I got a scapegoat. Then I got somebody else to blame. But today, y'all, the blame has got to sit in your seat. You're going to have to look in the mirror. You're going to have to look at yourself. You're going to have to analyze this thing and say, what hindered me from doing what thus saith the Lord? What hindered me? I'm not talking about nobody else today. What hindered you from being all that God wants you to be today? You cannot blame it on nobody else. The dog, the cat, the hurricane, the flood. You can't blame it on nobody else but yourself, because when you stand before the judgment seat and God asks you, who hindered you? He doesn't want to hear any excuse. He wants to say, you know what, God, it was me. And it was me at all. I let what happened to me stop me. I let what happened to me just get me in this place of confusion and confoundment, put me in this place of stagnation. I allowed what somebody did to me. I allowed self-doubt and hurt to overcome me and paralyze me. It was me, God. So I need you to make a difference in me today. Am I the only one? It's me. Come on, y'all, it's me that said I couldn't do it. Because I ain't got to agree with nobody that said I can't. If somebody told you you can't do something, you agree with them, whose fault is it? It's not theirs, it's yours because you agreed. And what do I mean by agree? It means that I don't push past my circumstance, that I didn't push myself past what somebody said my intellect was. I didn't push myself past where they said I could go. I didn't push myself past the disappointment. I didn't push myself past it. It's your fault. And we've got to begin to start taking ownership of what we did to our own selves. Everybody want to blame somebody else. Even we as a people, we want to blame the man. We want to blame the conqueror. We want to blame the oppressor. But I'm going to tell you today, there are some things that you've got to take responsibility of for yourself. Because my God is greater than any oppressor. What God put in me is greater than anything they could do. A Jim Crow, a John Crow, or a Mary Crow. God is bigger than that. And you know what I understand is that our ancestors had a concept of that we have lost along the way. They didn't just sit there and blame and point the finger. They got out there and they did something about it. They fought. They marched, they bled, they died on the behalf of themselves and others and those that will come after them. When the Selma bus boycott came, what did they do? They all got on one accord and they understood that if we have attacked the economy, we'll bring them down. But what do we do today? We're the biggest consumers in the world. The African American is one of the poorest, but we spend more money than anybody else. Why is that? Because we don't understand the power of our economics, but we want to blame somebody else on how we treat them. Well, why do we give them our money in the store? We don't like how we're being treated. Why do we give them our time? Why do we give them our money? If we don't believe it, it's because we got these scars that have never been healed. We've been in these circumstances that have never been healed. We've had these disappointments that have never been healed. But I call for healing and revitalization and renewal today. call for healing today. And it's up to you to call for healing in your life. Do you want to be more? Do you want to be better? Do you want to be greater? Well, you've got to be healed. Do you want that powerful relationship? You've got to be healed from the past ones. And I don't mean just heal from what somebody did to you, but come on, somebody, heal from what you did to somebody else. We can't sit here and just constantly blame somebody else. What was your part in it? You know, there comes a time I had to look myself in the mirror. What was my part? What was my role in the breaking down of that relationship, in the breaking down of that friendship, in the breakdown of my sibling relationship? What was my part in it? And if I had a part, I've got to ask for forgiveness, and then I got to forgive myself. And you say, I can't go back and ask him for no forgiveness. I can't go back and ask her for no forgiveness. I can't go back to that supervisor and ask their forgiveness. Maybe you can't physically go. Lord knows they might not even be on this planet for you to ask them for forgiveness. But if you can do it in the natural, you can do it in the spiritual. You ask God, God, please just let them know, even in the spirit realm, that I am sorry, that I apologize even for what I said, what I did, for my part of it. Where I was slowful, where I said and did hurtful things. I've got to take responsibility for what I did. Today, we're talking about from the perspective of the healed, because I'm going to tell you, when you healed, you look at things differently. You're going to operate differently when you're healed. And God has put some revelation in my spirit over this week, is that so many people are operating out of perspective of hurt and pain. Everything they do is from a perspective of hurt and pain because they have not been healed. So let me show you, because I got me an illustration today. So I got these glasses. And so everything I look at, I got hurt on one side, hurt, and I have pain. Everything I look at, from my ceiling to my floor, to my husband, to my children, to my front door and my back, everything I'm looking at comes from a perspective of hurt and pain because I've never been healed. When I eat my food, I'm eating from a perspective of hurt and pain. When I deal with my brothers and sisters, I'm dealing with them from a perspective of hurt and pain. When I go to work, I'm dealing with a perspective of hurt and pain because that's all I can see, because I have never been healed from whatever happened to me. From the time I was 2 to 42, I've never been healed from it. So I'm still walking in that. When I deal in my personal relationships, when I deal on my job, when I deal in my ministry, I'm ministering from a perspective of hurt and pain. But God says you need to be healed. You got to be healed today. Listen to this. This is one of our scriptures, Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, will I help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with thy right hand of my righteousness. Do you need help? Do you need healing? You ask God for it and he will give it. You know what? And let me tell you something. Even as I was reading this scripture, from my perspective of hurt and pain, all I can see, I'm trying to see, but I'm seeing the letters in between the words on my page. What does that say? Even when I'm reading my scriptures, even when I'm praying, even when I'm trying to intercede for somebody else, I'm still praying, I'm still reading, I'm still interceding from a perspective of hurt and pain. So how effective is that gonna be? The effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much, but what if your righteousness is stained with hurt and pain? Come on, somebody. You sitting here holding on. Time to let it go. So you can be whole, so you can be healthy, so you can be blessed and better than that. You want blessings and miracles to flow in your life? Do you want them to come from the perspective of hurt and pain, or do you want them from a place of healing and wholeness? That's it. Even your blessings will have cracks in them. Oh, yeah. Come on, somebody. Even your blessings will have holes and cracks because you are not fulfilled and you're not whole. You are broken, asking for God to come in and bless the mess. You have got to get it together. We have keep talking about this last quarter of this 2021. We are here in November, getting ready to enter another year. Do you want to go into this next year broken and cracked and bruised and holding on to all this baggage from all these years before? No, it's too heavy. It's tainted. You can't even see clear because you're holding on to all that hurt. You can't deal with your children because you're holding on to all this hurt. You can't deal with your neighbors and your friends. You can't even work as diligently and effectively as you could if you could do it free. Let me give you another scripture here. Exodus 15, 24 through 27, excuse me, 15, 24 through 27. 24 says, and the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? Now listen, this is the children of Israel, just came out of Egypt, done seen all the wonders of God, done went through all the plagues, just got through the Red Sea. And 3 days later, they complaining to Moses, what shall we drink? Now God done got you through all the struggles that you've been through. Now you worried about drinking something. You about ready to go on back to Egypt because you had water and you had wine in Egypt, sitting there complaining. And so Moses in 25 says, and he cried unto the Lord, listen, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, listen, and there he proved them. And 26 says, and said, if thou wilt diligently, listen, hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. All that they went through, all the toil, all the torture. And again, y'all know we're not talking about Egypt over there. We're talking about Egypt here. All that you have been through for 400 and some odd years, all of the rape, all of the pillaging, all of the torture, what you have gone through. He said, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. Today, I claim my divine healing, that Exodus kind of healing, that Exodus kind of miracle, that Exodus kind of blessing. That's what I call upon my life, that even what happens to the Egyptians, those that have tried to hurt me, those that have captured me, those that have tried to overtake me, that none of those things will touch me and my people, me and my children, me and my household. I declare that because the Lord claimed that I am healed from all of that. So they wanted something to drink. God showed them a miracle in the wilderness, that even a tree, because they called that lake, that bit of water was called Mara, for bitterness. So you could put the tree into that water, and then the water is made sweet and pure. So God said, I would give you sweetness and purity for your bitterness, if you will diligently hearken to my voice and do what is right in my sight. I will bless thee, yea, I will heal thee. From the perspective of the healed, not from the perspective of hurt and pain. We must allow God to heal us from every hurt. When you've been hurt but not healed, Everything you do is coming from the position and perspective of hurt, pain, and disappointment. Listen to this, even if you are far removed from the source, the residue is still there. Let's say we're using people, because people hurt you. Even if that person is gone, gone, ain't seen them in years, don't even run into them across town. A lot of times you still hurt, the residue is still there, even if you don't have contact with that person. And this is the thing, even your expectations of yourself, your expectations of other people are framed in that perspective of pain and hurt. So many people, after suffering loss, pain, hurt, and disappointment, they approach everything else from that point with that perspective. So you know what? You decide, I want a relationship. I want to be with somebody. I want to spend some time with somebody. But you're coming from the perspective of hurt and pain. So as you're looking for that person, you're going to get somebody that's going to hurt you and cause you pain, because that's the spirit in which you are seeking them. Did y'all hear what I just said? If you're not here, the perspective, the belief, what you are drawing to you, that energy, you're going to pull somebody in that's going to do the same thing. They're going to disappoint you. They're going to hurt you. They're going to cause pain if you have not healed yourself, because you're looking at them through that lens. If I'm looking through a hurt and pain lens, what am I going to get? Hurt and pain, because that's what I am seeing. That's what I am looking for. Toxic relationships. These things will continue to be perpetuated, and you'll continue to draw unsatisfying, unsavory situations because you're not seeing it from the perspective of the healed. Even on top of that, because you haven't healed yourself, you're not even going to insist on more. You're not going to expect more. You're not going to require more. You're not even going to request more, because I know a lot of people, and it might not be none of y'all here. We can talk about somebody across town, but a lot of times you sit there because of what you've gone through and your self-esteem has been attacked, that even in your subconscious, you don't even believe that you deserve more. But I'm going to tell you, I deserve God's greatest. I deserve God's best. Yeah, I have some scars, but I'm healed. Circumstances, but I'm healed. Disappointments, I have many, but I've been healed from them. And I can't let what has happened destroy my future, destroy where I can go and what I can have and who I can be. Y'all, I am just a few months shy of my doctoral degree. But I remember I had people that said I couldn't even go to accelerated classes in the 5th grade. I didn't have the temperament for it. I was too shy. I didn't have the those kids would eat me alive. But I'm sitting here at the top of my class in my doctoral program. What if I would have let those disappointments and what teachers said about me and said to me and how they try to keep me back and wouldn't give me 1 point shy of me being in an honor society year after year, semester after semester? What if I would have internalized that and said, well, there must not be any value to me. Why should I get a bachelor's degree? Why should I get a master's? How in the world can I think that I could compete in a doctoral program? Because somebody in the 5th grade told me that I couldn't. I could let that hurt follow me and keep me from achieving the pinnacle of my educational journey. I wish I could go back to that lady now. Oh, yeah. Boy, I wish. Boy, Miss Millard and Middle Lane Elementary School, I wish I could show you right now that I have the temperament. I might be a little shy, but I am bold in God. I have spoken all around the world despite what you see. I I have educated thousands of children despite what you said. I have two beautiful, intelligent, bright, shining children despite what you said. But what if I would have let that hurt? What if I would have let that disappointment follow me for the rest of my life? Where would I be? Would I be here before you today? Who knows? Look at it like this. I'm gonna bring it home a little bit because we still celebrating here in Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves just won the World Series. And every single commentator that I have heard talk, they said, you know what? We knew that the Braves were lined up, you know, to do really good at the beginning of the season. We knew they would do good, but we never expected them to go all the way. But when you hear from the players, I love it because they all say, you know what? We had a tough season. We had a lot of injuries. We had a lot of bumps and bruises. But at the end of it all, we believed that we could, and so we did. They defied the odds. Some of their best players were on the bench because they were hurt, but they had other people that stood up and they filled in the gap. They defied the odds and they won. So I want to ask you today, what is your against all odds philosophy? Boy, I tell you what, I hadn't thought about Miss Miller in years, but I wish I could go talk to her right now. I don't know where she at, Lord bless her heart, but I would tell her, you said I couldn't do it, but I did. Matter of fact, I'm quite sure I probably have more education than you. Probably been further around the world than you ever thought to go. What is your against the odds philosophy? Where's your I have suffered loss, but I've been hurt, but I've been abused, but I've been talked about and I've been lied on, but I've been left behind, but you must allow yourself to be renewed and be restored. Just like those bitter waters were made sweet, allow God to take away all that has hurt you or is hurting you now and make your life sweet. Now listen to this. If you don't or you won't believe that any of that, if you just won't, because sometimes you can tell people and they just won't believe it. If you just don't believe that your life can be sweeter, that you can be lighter, that you can go forth believing and trusting in yourself better and seeing clear, then I'm gonna tell y'all now, you can go ahead and just click the little red button that says end and go on and get off of Zoom. Because what we're talking about right now is a belief that you want to be healed, not in mere words, hopes, or dreams, but in reality. You must allow God to fix what is broken in you. So we're going with this perspective of the hurt and pain. So to fix what is broken around you from the perspective of the healed, your relationships will then improve. And I'm gonna tell you this, some of your relationships, as you get better, some of those relationships you have, they're gonna die. Those people are gonna fall away because you get healed. Because I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people, they don't want you to be healed and they broke, huh? They're not praying for your healing and theirs too. They saying, you know what, I might get me a piece of healing, but I don't want Alice to be healed. I don't really want Alice to get herself together, or Julia, she already thinks she's some of her vegetables and stuff. I don't want her to get really free. I don't need her to really break out like she wants to, because, then we really gonna be in competition with each other. So some relationships, as you fix yourself, so you gotta go on and be prepared. And they're probably going to let you know who really is a friend, who's really an intercessor, who's really somebody that got your back and is your cheerleader when they start to fall off and disappear, because they will. I'm going ahead and tell you that. But then other relationships that you have, they're going to flourish and they're going to grow because you are operating out of the perspective of the healed. Because you're going to be better. You're going to be nicer. You're going to be more cordial. You're going to be happier. You're going to be lighter. You're going to laugh. Oh, Miss Julie, I see that smile. We're going to see all your teeth because you are feeling better. You're lighter. You're not holding on to all that animosity and anger from the past, what they did and what they say. You could care less. What Miss Alice said, I could care less. You will really won't care. And I mean, you're going to say it and you mean it. You ever get to that point where, you know, you said it, I don't care about them, they don't bother me, but it really does. You just keep saying it, hoping that, you know, it'll kind of make itself true. But I'm talking about you are going to get to the point where you absolutely believe what you said. Your heart gonna know it, your mind gonna know it, your soul gonna know it. And when you say it to your friends and family, they're gonna know you mean it too. There's a difference when you mean something. So as I've been talking, I've been healing myself. I got me some good, nice cleaner, and I got me a fresh cloth, and I've been wiping it away. I've been asking God to make me better. Don't allow me to hold on to this bitterness and I want to get revenge. If I ever see you again, I'm gonna run you over with my car and not even stop. I'm just gonna hear the bump and keep on moving. Like, I want you to remove that from me. I want you to remove that. Oh, well, you know, somebody told me that I was less than and I would never be anybody and that I couldn't accomplish. Well, no, I'm removing all of that. And now I have a clear, clean perspective. So when I look at you now, when I operate in my ministry, I can operate from the perspective of the healed. When I deal with my husband and my children, I can operate from the perspective of the healed. When I sit in these Zoom meetings after Zoom meetings with these people I work with, I can operate out of the perspective of the healed. I've been hurt on my job. I've been hurt in my family. I've been hurt at church. Lord have mercy. But y'all, I'm operating now out of the perspective of the healed. That's why I can talk like I do, because I'm talking about what I done been through. I've been through the fire. I've been through the flood. I've been through all this stuff that somebody tried to take something away from me of who I was, who I am, who I can be. But I'm not going to allow them to do that anymore. I'm operating out of the perspective of the healed. Your thoughts will be different because you are coming from the perspective of the healed. Your food will taste better. Your sight will be clear. Your spiritual insight will be keener. You have the freedom of choice despite, I'm gonna tell you, despite what this government is telling you, because now they're telling you don't have a choice. They're taking away every freedom you could ever think of. You can choose whether you want to be healed or free. If you want to be healed, if you want to be free, it's up to you. It's a choice. Or you can walk around here and you can be bound and you can be bitter and you can be angry and you can just perpetuate this whole life of bitterness and anger all the way around you. Then people say and wonder, why is everybody acting so funny? Man, maybe it's because you acted funny first. Because you got all this stuff going on. You're sitting in that stool. Let's be liberated. Let's be healed. Let's be free. Don't allow these things that have happened in your life to make you bitter. You can't just hold on to it. You can't make excuses for it anymore. Don't just hold on to this pain and this hurt. Like I said before, you know, a lot of times I think people hold on to it almost on purpose because you had opportunity. You had a time to really get away and get yourself focused and get yourself cleansed and get yourself healed and put back together. But as long as you stay in that perspective of hurt and pain, I say you can blame somebody else for what you didn't do and where you didn't go and how far you got. Y'all, we can't blame nobody else. Don't allow circumstances, hurt, abuses, pain to cut you off from where you can be, who you can be, and what you can accomplish in yourself. You know, we keep talking about this self-actualization, this making self better. This is one of the first things you have got to make sure that you do, is to heal yourself. Cedric just said the greatest love of all is loving yourself. And if there's some stuff you don't like, change it. A lot of stuff about our personalities, we can change it if we really wanted to. And that, I know people say, well, you know what, once you get older, you set in your ways. Why? Because somebody said you set in your ways. Why can't you change if you're becoming better? Why be complacent? Why not continue to grow and adapt and change and make yourself better? I don't care how old you are. Man, I'm about to be 45. But I feel like I got a little picture of an iceberg, and it says success is like an iceberg. You know, you got that little peak. I am barely peeking above the water. I don't even know if I got above the water yet. I'm an iceberg that's growing. I'm a force to be reckoned with. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm still growing. I'm still learning about myself. I'm still blossoming. I'm still blooming. It's not over. We can't blame anybody else. And if anything, I'm gonna tell you, if y'all use that hurt and that pain and flip that thing around and use that for some motivation, I'll tell you what we talking about. Success is the best revenge. Somebody trying to tell you you nobody, boy, you could become the best somebody. I mean, we know we all somebody. Y'all get what I'm saying? We all, but I'm just saying, you become the best in your lane that you can be. Because you came from a certain place or a certain beginning, that does not mean you got to stay there. I encourage you today to cut the victim role and take on the role of the victor, the overcomer, the healed, the whole. Allow God to heal you. And you got to really get real with yourself. I can't tell you what you got to do. You know what you need to do. You know what you got to let go of, what keeps getting in your way. Every time you're trying to even talk to somebody, you're thinking about what JoJo did. Or what Cheryl did. Gentlemen, sorry. You know, we can't worry about Cheryl. Cheryl gone. But Mary's right in front of you. What are you going to do about it? You cannot receive what God has for you when your hands are full. You got to empty. I've told you that several times, but this applies here too. When you are full of hurt and pain and disappointment and all that's happened, yes, it happened, but allow it to make you better, not bitter. Use those stones that somebody threw at you as stepping stones. We got all the cliches. We say it, but people can spot it. But I mean, you got to mean that thing. A little saying on a picture on the wall has no power if you don't internalize it and you don't act on it. Use what somebody tried to use as a weapon against you. You use that as a motivator to get you to the next level, to achieve those things that you want. Get you a place where you can stand on your own 2 feet, not blaming nobody, not passing it off on somebody else, but you can stand on your own and say, this is what I built. I took the circumstances and what I've been through and I made something great out of it. Maybe you could even tell somebody. I was looking at Facebook, and I have a good friend of mine I've known for a long time. She is a breast cancer survivor. And she would just tell she's very newly out of it, maybe not even quite a year, I don't think. But she did well. She's in remission. But she was saying that she wears she had a breast cancer sweatshirt on, 2 different occasions. She had 2 different breast cancer shirts on, and she said she was in a store and somebody just walked up to her because it said survivor, and they were like, "Oh, are you a breast cancer survivor?" And she said the lady kind of like gave her a high five, and she said, "Well, are you a survivor too?" She said, "No, but I'm a supporter." And she said, "I'm gonna pray for you that God continues to heal you." And then she said in another instance, she had another shirt on and she was somewhere, and this woman came up to her and she said, "You know, you're a survivor?" And she said, "Yes." And she said, "You know what? I went through it too." And they started sharing their stories. And in the midst of them sharing their stories, a gentleman overheard the conversation. And she said, well, she turned to these 2 men that were like standing in front of them. She said, "I'm so sorry for this conversation. I know it's probably more than you ever want to hear." And the one man turned around and said, "You know what?" He said, "I'm so thankful to have heard that because my wife was just diagnosed with breast cancer yesterday." So because of her even wearing a shirt and sharing her testimony and what she's gone through and the pain and the hurt and all of her struggles of what she went through, now she is healed and able to share what she went through and help bless somebody else. Y'all get what I'm saying? You can use what you've been through as a testimony to help somebody else. You've been through an abusive relationship. I have to. Let me tell you how I got over it. Let me tell you how I got out of it. Let me tell you how I overcame that situation. You're having a hard time on the job? I did too. Let me tell you how to get over it. Let me tell you how to get another job. Let me tell you, if you're going to plan on staying there and retiring, what you can do and what you need to, how you need to go about it. You have a testimony then. But you know what? When you're still in that hurt and pain, you can't even testify about it because you didn't get over it. It's still lingering. It's still holding on to you. Allow God to heal you and operate from the perspective of the healed, not the perspective of the broken. Be healed today, y'all. I'm praying with you. As always, you know, y'all can call me, text me. We're gonna pray this hurt and pain and this stuff, these circumstances and disappointments. We're gonna pray them right on out the way so that you can be free to be you and do what God wants you to do and needs you to do in this upcoming season. We've got to be strong and we've got to be whole. We got to be these soldiers standing on the wall. We can't do that. We sitting down here disillusioned and oh, it's me. No, it's no time for pity parties. We got to be strong. From the perspective of the healed, that's where we want to be. That's where we're going in 2022. Now you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to take the time. You got to read a book, if you got to go to a therapist, whatever it is that you got to do to get that thing off of you so you can truly get who and what you deserve. I want it for you. I truly do. But I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself. I just can't. Do the work, folks. We're here to support. We're here to pray. And we'll see it. We'll see it. Let's operate from the perspective of the healed. I love y'all. I thank y'all so much. Yes, sir. And just everybody, y'all, as always, I thank you all so much for riding with us. And, just sticking and staying with us. And I just ask you to continue to pray for us. We'll continue to pray for you. Y'all, we getting strong. God is building soldiers and we got to be as strong as possible to face the days ahead. And it's a great season, but it's a trying season at the same time. And we need to be able to be open to the Spirit and not have anything pulling us back or clouding our view. When I look, I want to be able to see clearly That's why I got my nice progressive lenses that I tried to deny for so long. I'm like, I don't want them things, but I tell you what, when I put them on, I can see clear. I want to have that kind of vision in my spiritual, my mind's eye, to be able to see clearly where I need to go, what I need to do, what I need to say, how I need to move. Because every step, every decision is pivotal. Everyone is important. So it's important that we let go of all this stuff that does not serve us well. If it doesn't build you, it got to go. If it holds you back, it's got to go. And I love y'all. I want to see the very best for you. So I pray that you continue to walk in victory, that you have a wonderful week as we end up this last quarter of this year. I'm just so excited about what God is doing in this season, this harvest time. All right. So continue to just love each other. Y'all pray for one another. I'm going to say, you need anything, let us know. All right. And remember that when you want something, the entire universe conspires to give it to you. Peace and blessings, family. Love y'all.